Hi, this is Esther Lin, photographer for MMAfighting.com, and I'd like to share a few of my favorite images from UFC 211. UFC 211 begins in Los Angeles, at Hinoki and the Bird, a restaurant whose muslin-covered patio caresses every face with soft, warm light. We had a media luncheon with the strawweight champion, Joanna Jędrzejczyk, and at the end of a series of portraits I was taking of the Polish fighter, I asked her to look down for the last shot, to admire the gold in her hands. Fast forward to Dallas, where on Thursday of fight week, we squeezed into a local gym with hundreds of excited fans to watch the four in the title fights atop this massive card. Challenger Jessica Andrade kicks us off with enthusiasm, going so far as to demonstrate a few illegal moves as she went pride style and played soccer, kicking her coach in the head while he was grounded. Junior Dos Santos, the heavyweight challenger, was greeted very warmly by the crowd here in Dallas. This place was hot, humid, but happy. A fan handed Dos Santos a replica belt to sign. The man, as he always is, was all smiles. The champion Jędrzejczyk bounces onto the mats. She's intense but in bright spirits. She's welcomed in her return to the city where she first won her UFC belt. Last up is the heavyweight champ, Stipe Miocic. Miocic is zeroed in on Saturday night. In the afternoon, we're a couple blocks away in Darren Williams' new gym, Fortis MMA, where Rose Namajunas is demonstrating both the practical and preposterous in her arsenal against Pat Perry. Houston heavyweight Derek Lewis, facing Mark Hunt next, knocks the mitts around after. The next morning, we're at the Fighter Hotel for the official weigh-ins, and Frankie Edgar shows up first. Everyone makes weight, and the usually gaunt Joanna Jędrzejczyk needs the hoop but hits the mark, looking much healthier than in previous cuts. In the afternoon, the day bursts wide open as nearly every fighter at the summer kickoff press conference is feeling the Texas heat, and it's an angry, ridiculous mess. Even the newcomers got in on the action, and it's just not a big press conference without a fracas breaking out. Each face-off was cagey, even between the fighters who didn't seem to have too much to dislike in each other. The electric tension was crackling in the air. All went well, as it usually does with the ceremonial weigh-ins. And the champ, Jędrzejczyk, gave her opponent a customary gift, this time a handmade UFC belt that read Fantasy. And the two heavyweights in the main event were cordial as always, as nothing was left to do but fight. After getting images out for the day, we ventured into Deep Ellum to watch Paul Bearer. It's fight night, and as we'd hoped, UFC 211 is delivering in action all across the board. There isn't even time to go over everything that happened. The few minutes we saw of Poirier versus Alvarez were pure mayhem. And it ended in that wonderful confusion that ruins our favorite bouts, because we just can't have nice things. In the middle of the card, we had the classic old guard, new guard matchup. Except Frankie Edgar was unusually peeved all week at the notion that somehow he's old, and that somehow this kid is going to come in and flatten him. People seemed genuinely concerned for the Answer's welfare this week as he ready to face a whirling youth. Though, I'd probably pick the New Jersey pugilist over anyone not named Jose Aldo. It was devastating. Frankie Edgar was in fine form, perfectly timed takedowns, elbows, and ground strikes that pulped Rodriguez's face. In the end, the doctor and the referee wave off the fight, and it's back to the drawing board for Pantera. The lights dim, and it's time for my personal main event. Andrade walks out as spotlights dot the arena. Then the champ strides out of the tunnel, flag flying as her superhero cape. Jędrzejczyk stares into Andrade's eyes as they meet in the center, as if to ask, "You wanted this. Are you ready?" And certainly the challenger is ready as she sends the champ flying in a few takedown attempts, but Joanna Jędrzejczyk is ready and bounds back to her feet. After some adjustments, Joanna Jędrzejczyk begins to pull away, her technical prowess shining as each minute passes. A well-oiled machine. The champ seems to recalibrate her weapons at the end of each round, dialing into Jessica Andrade with her accuracy and volume. In the end, Andrade is unable to get inside, and the champion retains her belt. Joanna hugs her coach Kami Barzini, who will be leaving American Top Team in the coming months. He stretches his face, shakes the tears away before they can fall. It's a grand accomplishment for them both. Jessica Andrade then gets on the mic and, though she lost, still follows through with her plan to ask for her girlfriend's hand in marriage. The crowd cheers, and it's a wonderful, if slightly bittersweet moment for the Brazilian. After the challenger Junior dos Santos enters the cage, the arena falls into shadows as the champ makes his ring walk. I like to watch the fighter waiting in the cage as they listen to their foe's music booming against the walls in the darkness. But just as quickly as the fight starts, it's over, as Miocic tears into Dos Santos and avenges his last loss with emphasis here. A triumphant roar atop the cage at the American Airlines Center. An embrace between them now that they are no longer foes. And a little dance with the gold around his waist. Stipe Miocic is still the UFC heavyweight champion. In the post-fight press conference, Joanna Jędrzejczyk arrives as Dana White is finishing up his portion with the media. Our time with her is short as she's overcome with emotion after being asked about Kami Barzini leaving ATT. The room is quiet. You can hear echoes of feet shuffling away, the sound of hearts swelling with love, and sadness swirling. Winning spectacularly, here in Dallas again, is a shared triumph for her and for her team together. It's a heavy night for all, as Junior dos Santos has to hold back tears too when asked about his newborn son. And here's the champ, now tied for the record of the most heavyweight title defenses at 2 in a row. White was dismissive of the number, but the tumult and turbulence of the division comes from the very thing that makes heavyweights so fun to watch. It's that possibility of a knockout at any moment, that wild first-round violence, and the very fact that nearly every heavyweight can knock the other out. It seems impossible to stay at the top for long. This firefighter from Cleveland is on the edge of breaking the UFC heavyweight record. And he's not an imposing figure like Brock Lesnar or Cain Velasquez. But he's your neighbor down the street, and you know someone who went to high school with him, and it's great to see the hometown rally around him. Can Stipe Miocic break that record, move towards being the greatest UFC heavyweight of all time? Will he continue to reign over his division, as Joanna Jędrzejczyk does at strawweight? Two dominant champs emerge from Dallas, their titles intact, their path through history still being written, and we'll see where that takes us next. This is Esther Lin for MMAfighting.com. Thank you for watching.